The topic is trusting in God.
God asking you to do something does not mean it will always be easy. I was on the streets of Magodo with like nowhere to go, no one to call. It was a very crazy moment for me. So I learned Yahoo. All those how to hack emails, Facebook, small thing. This is block money, you know. You see, come and do Yahoo. Nothing they there. No, you not the money where they carry from our fathers, where they carry from them. You know, this went to Bini carry things. So these are things that we are taking it back. You know, this is history.
This is history. Hey everyone, welcome to the Open Up podcast, where we're all about sharing, learning, opening up, talking the truth, and being real. My name is Dara, and as usual, I'm not doing it alone. I have the amazing Splendour in the building. First of all, you look very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, I had to go step up my game so that I can match him. He's a fashion designer. He's incredibly good at what he does. I think he specializes in bespoke
Creates for men.
Bespoke for men and women. Okay. So first of all, welcome to the Open Up podcast. Good to have you here. Today we're talking about something very, very important and honestly not really talked about in depth enough from the POV of when you're not in church, and the topic is trusting in God. So I reached out to him and he said, yeah, I'll come, I'll talk, I'll share, I'll open up, and we hope that happens. So let's just jump right into it. Trusting in God, what does that mean to you?
For me, it's bringing it down to real life experiences. It's a series of episodes or phases, because it's not going to happen one time. It's going to be a long life, a journey. A journey where you just have to keep trusting in. It's a process. You have to keep doing that till the very end of your life, because it's something that you can't do without, basically. So for me, it's a journey. It's something that you just have to, at every point of your life, find reasons to trust God, whether the circumstances surrounding whatever it is you're dealing with is comfortable or not. Okay,
so do you have personal experiences where you absolutely had to trust in God? And I'm going to give context here. I mean, even though we're in a place like Nigeria where you actually have to trust in God for NEPA, for water, for good health, that good Lord, as I go out today, let me not have accidents and stuff like that. But apart from the, ill fates that surrounds, living in Nigeria, and some of the fact that we're in a third world country, are there situations where, despite all your human strength, your knowledge, your understanding, you just look at it and like, honestly, I just have to trust in God, or I have no other choice?
Well, I'm going to talk about this phase of my life when I was done with school, and at that point, I needed to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So that point was a very interesting point of my life, because I'd left school, left my father's house, and I moved into an apartment where I felt, okay, we can start life from here. I actually went back. My parents they stay in Anambra. So I moved to Anambra, and I stayed with them for a month. I'm like, I can't continue here. So I went to get my own apartment, but I got it close to a Chinese school because I wanted to study Chinese. So I did international...
Study Chinese?
Yeah. I did international studies and diplomacy, and I wanted to get one more language to help me, to be, So at the end of the day, I didn't want to go for French. I'm like, French is very common. Everybody knows French. So I went to learn Chinese.
No, everybody knows Je m'appelle.
I'm like, I want to learn Chinese. The philosophy behind that was that I saw that the market in Nigeria is really growing, and you see a lot of Chinese people coming into Nigeria to do business.
That's true.
So I wanted to be a middleman. All right. At that point, I didn't even see myself getting into business fully, but I wanted to be at a point where both the business people and the people they are trying to connect with need me. All right. So I said, okay, let me go study Chinese. And then I left my daddy's house. I told him, like, you're on your own now. I'm like, fine. I went to the school. I was there for like, let's say 8 months. It was really going well, trust me. But one day, God told me, we are done with this now. It's time to, I'm like, I'm not done. And then I prayed about it, and I called my dad. I'm like, I think I'm going to drop out. He said, you're the one that said you wanted to go to Chinese school. Now you want to drop out. You're your own. Do you get? I'm like, okay, fine. It was beginning to dawn on me like that. Hey, I'm no longer a kid. Whatever decision I'm making, all right. So, and I was really enjoying my classes then, but then I had to trust God to do what He would have me do at that point.
Okay.
So I left school, and then I remember that I've not even gone for NYSC. This is a good time. It's been a long time. This is a good time to go for NYSC, and then God was directing me to come to Lagos.
Okay.
So I was posted to Borno for my NYSC. I walked it back to Lagos because I knew I was supposed to be in Lagos at that point. But the funny thing was that was that was when things really got tough. So I learned something there, that God asking you to do something does not mean it will always be easy. You know, where you are saying, oh, God told me to do this. So I knew it was because this is coming from God, it's going to go smoothly. It doesn't always happen that way. So moving to Lagos, I just had 6K with me. I told you, like, then, okay, I told my dad that I was coming to Lagos, like, oh, you have a place to stay? Yeah, 6K, that was what I had with me. Aside my transport, this was like the pocket money I had. So, like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I've sorted all of that out. I didn't want to, because then it was beginning to dawn on me that I'm on my own. All right. So I came to Lagos. I didn't have anywhere to stay. So it was.
So you had 6,000 naira.
I'm telling you, it was crazy. So then I had to start calling friends.
Wow.
I'll stay here for a week. Oh, my baby's coming over. Can you maybe?
You had babe.
No, not me. The person I'm probably going to his house. So I didn't have a place
Just to
stay.
clarify.
Yeah. So I was moving from one place to the other. So the thing that happened to me, or the good thing that happened then was that I got a job.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
The job was it wasn't a serious job though. It was NYC kind of job. So I was being paid 30,000. So that was what I was surviving on. Plus my little allowance. Then I think it was 19,000. I don't know what they pay now.
Yeah.
So I came to Lagos then. Sometimes I would sleep at the office. So I see like some of my colleagues, you know, maybe if you're not driving and you want to join someone, they're asking, oh, which side are you going to? Then if you're asking me, I'm like, oh, my side is very far. Traffic is much. So I would just stay back. Meanwhile, I was trying to sleep at the office.
Oh, wow.
I had my clothes with me. I was always moving around with my clothes because spending the night here doesn't mean I will spend the night there tomorrow. So it was a very difficult point of my life. And then one day like that, the cleaner called me like, Oga, you know, suppose they stay office. So, you know, see, one day the Oga of fever sack me. I have a place where I stay. You can put up with me for a while. And then when you sort yourself out, I mean.
Wow,
like,
that was so kind.
That was so kind. Well, I went there after work one of those days. And then he was staying in all those prayer ministries. You know, those people that used to pray every day.
Okay.
All those, say, wait, is this the place you're talking about? He said, yes. I'm like, okay. He said, nobody will disturb me here. I said, no problem. The first day I slept there, I was there, and around 3 a.m. or around 2 a.m., they started, I heard people started praying. Apparently, some other people even entered the place. I'm like, so people move around by this time, started praying, casting out demons. I say, that's what demon go enter me, just say they find, you know, it was crazy.
You'll not be sleeping, it will enter.
It was, I left for work around 5 a.m. because I couldn't sleep anymore. The fire, they were shouting, I was even scared that my demon not go enter me because they were casting demons, you know. I'm like, oh, I can't sleep here. I left for work around 5 a.m., got to my office, slept there till the morning. I dressed up, you know, brushed up and everything. So I'm like, God, I can't continue like this. Till I called a friend and they're like, oh, I have my brother staying in Magodo. You can go stay with him. You know, I think he has a free room where you could stay and everything. I'm like, finally, I moved to Magodo. This was 2018. So I moved to Magodo to stay with the guy. And started staying with them. Then something happened. I didn't even know what they were doing because I wake up in the morning and I'm off to work. Then I come back maybe at night, you know, due to the traffic and all of that. So one day they called me like, how much do you earn where you work? I said, now they pay me 30,000 naira. Maybe when I'm done with service, they will increase it to something, you know, tangible. And they were like, see this guy, waiting with the use chop breakfast, like waiting the hustle for a whole month. So the guy started insisting that I have to learn Yahoo. That's what they do.
Wow.
So it was, I'm like, God, how did I even land here? And the thing is that if I don't learn, I'll leave the house. Because they didn't feel safe to, like, this guy is not doing what we are doing, so you're not going to cast updates one day, that kind of thing. I stayed with them for a while, and at that point, he insisted I needed to learn. I'm like, if I say no, this guy is going to throw me out because he already told me, we can't be here and you don't know what we are doing. He said, are you not the first one? I said, Supposed hustle. You see your mates, this one, see this guy. You're even older than him. See, you don't get car now, go outside and impact that. See, they're trying to help me. There are people are even begging them to come and learn, and they are even trying to, because of his friend that, you know. I said, okay, fine. I learned here. The problem was, I do it now. So that was where they threw me out, because I've learned a lot of things. In fact, I even had leverage, on the thing, because I knew how to speak Chinese, and most of their Asian clients, it was, you get, I had already made one call like that. That made them close up one deal. So like, see this guy, he did do you get? So you were like,
you have the talent.
You have the skills, you have the talents, you get? You're a sharp guy.
Insane.
So it was crazy for me. So I'm like, okay. I used like 2 months learning. So all those, how to hack emails, Facebook, small things, we don't learn everything. I do it now. That was when there are things my conscience can't let me do. All right. So then I was already telling God, I cannot. And one of the, I was even happy I learned, because no knowledge is a waste. To be honest, I say this because,
so people
okay, let me say it because a lot of people, they feel this thing is so bad, and I'm a Christian, I shouldn't know about it.
Okay.
There is a difference between knowing about something and actually using it.
Okay.
All right. Just like knowing how to use a gun, it's not bad, but actually using it for the wrong things. All right. So what I've learned, I could work in any fraud team of any. Do you understand what I mean?
Telling them what,
because I know what these guys do and how to. You get?
I think it's called, is it called white hacking or something?
I don't know what they call it.
Yeah. but it's being on the good side of the law.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned it, but I couldn't use it because my conscience wouldn't let me, do that. So one of those days, a guy called me and said, I've given you grace to start practicing. He said you wanted a laptop, and we gave you laptop. He said you wanted phone. We give you phone. So what else do you need? Why are you not working? So one of those days, he came back and said, you have to leave the house. And I left the house. I was on the streets of Magodo with like nowhere to go, no one to call. It was a very crazy moment for me. So I just sat down at one of these pavements there, and I was like, God, what's going on? I was on my own. My Chinese thing was going very well. You called me and you said,
go to Lagos.
Go to Lagos, all right? I left what I was doing, came here. Why am I finding it difficult? Because this was also, it was spanning into 2019. So it wasn't like, maybe 1 month thing that.
Like a year.
It was over a year plus. I was, it was difficult for me to put myself together. So I'm like, God, what's going on? Came for service. It hasn't been easy. My work is not like the pay is really good. 30,000 naira. I don't even have a place to stay. It was really difficult. So I was just there, just thinking about my life. And then my mind told me, okay, call your cousin sister that stays so place. Call her and tell her that you are stranded. And then I called her, and then logically she said, I have someone that stays in Magodo where you are.
Same Magodo.
The person even stays very close to the place I was in Magodo.
Wow.
So I called the guy. I'm like, I don't like staying with people. He's even married though. So like, you know what? When I come back in the evening, I will see you, and then I will decide if you can stay with me. And I said, okay, fine. Then he came back that evening, called me, where are you? I came to his house. Like, okay, fine. Are you with your bag? Me, I was ready now. I carried my bag, entered room. He gave me one of the rooms. Very good room with AC. That was like me having, that was the first break.
Luxury.
I'm telling you. So I stayed in the house, and I was still trusting God because I know.
And just to, sorry to interrupt, you said he's married.
He's married.
Was that him, his wife?
Yeah, and me, yeah.
Wow.
So, but the thing was that the wife was not always around because she was in Port Harcourt at the moment. So she just comes in. I think she works there too.
Okay.
And then he works in Lagos.
Okay.
So she comes in maybe end of the month or once in a while, yeah. So I stayed with him, and we really stayed well. We stayed for like 9 months.
Wow.
So that 9 months was me. I was done with my service. My salary was increased. And at some point I told him, see, I need to get my own place. All right. And though he wasn't having it because he felt, to him, I brought in so much ease when it comes to handling his house. Because now I have to clean the house, do a lot of things that normally you'll be thinking of how to do them. And when he travels, he comes back and the house is dusty. Now he comes back, the house is clean. All right. So he felt, we can stay together. It's a big house. I mean, why are you? I told him that I mean, he has tried for me. It's over 9 months now, and I need to get my own place. Because I was seeing that most of my activities were on the island, my work. I had my fashion brand in mind then, and I knew I was going to be on the island. So I needed to move to the island. So that was, and that's what told me to move. Then I moved to that period. This was 2019, mid 2019 or so. I moved that period to the island, got an apartment, a big queue that I got for like 250K. Don't ask me how small. It was really very small, but I was beginning to see growth. All right. So it was little, but it was very tangible for me. I mean, coming from someone that on the streets, I mean, I didn't even tell you the whole story. There was a day I even slept. You know, Nathan Bass's church is actually his church in VI. This Redeemed Church in VI. I know one of those days I slept outside the church. Then before morning service, I already dressed up and joined them for service. That was because I didn't have any place to stay.
Wow.
So it was a series of episodes of me being stranded in Lagos. I've slept in Chicken Republic, the one in phase 1. That the security was disturbing me. Like, oh, I can't be here now. I'm like, I don't know where to go, because apparently I was inside sitting down like a normal, waiting for them to close, you know. Waiting for them to close, like, you can't stay here. Like, oh, please, let me just, please, you know. So it was a very difficult moment for me. So getting a house now of my own, it was a big miracle. So I moved into that phase of my life, and I was really very happy. My work then, I was retained. I was now earning like 108,000 then. So felt like some form of relief. I felt, okay, I'm beginning to put my things together. I'm beginning to like find myself.
Yeah.
All right. So after I was retained at my workplace, I was now thinking of my business. I know I have flair for fashion. I really like fashion. How do I even start? Where do I get the capital from? All right. I was praying about it, and God said, when it's time, I'll let you know. So how that one happened was that, okay, after my service, I did my logo thing, started sourcing for tailors. I was just telling them, don't worry, I'll call you soon. We'll work together. All right. Started going to the market to just see how things go, how they buy fabrics, asking questions. But then I was still working. All right. So I announced my brand. So somehow people had it in their mind that this guy has a fashion brand and he could, you know, make something for us when we have need for his services. So that was it. And then gradually I started with my colleagues. I make pant trousers for them, corporate shirts for them, and gradually business was growing. All right.
Now business is big.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
So from there, they refer me to their friends, to their family. And one day like that, that was a year later now, I was at work one day and God said, resign.
Wow.
So that's the thing. I have been in different phases in my life where I didn't even know the next step. Like, I didn't know, not like I didn't know when to make the next step. So it's more like God telling me, do this at this moment, and I just have to trust him that. So that day I just came to work like every normal person, and then God said, resign.
Okay. So we're going to talk about this resigning, but we're going to go on a very short break. And when we come back, we're still talking about trusting in God with splendor. All right, welcome back. We were talking about trusting in God, and Splendour just told us. By the way, Splendour, your full name, please. So that
Elekwachi Ifeanyi Splendour.
Okay, Ifeanyi Splendour.
Yeah.
And your surname is?
Elekwachi.
So I'm going to remind you what you said. You said you were at work one day, and God said,
and God asked
resign.
me to resign.
Now, before you tell us what happened after, I've seen a pattern in some of the things you're saying. Oh, I was in Anambra. I was asked to leave my house, go to the Chinese school. I went to a Chinese school. God said, leave the Chinese school. So how does one know that this is actually God speaking, not your imagination? Because, for instance, when you talk about happenstance, some people believe that, oh, nothing is coincidence, right? So how come you didn't feel like, for instance, that Bonu was not the place to be, since that is what happened?
Yeah.
And it's not like you were posted to Lagos, because you could have been posted to Lagos and that could have been a confirmation. So how does one know that they are actually hearing from God in your own experience?
Well, I thank God for my parents. So I was already brought up in the way of the Lord. So I've been taught how to, respond to God's leading. So for me, it's sometimes it comes like a thought where I know normally I'm not thinking about this. I didn't plan to do this. And then suddenly there is an urge to do it. and I feel at peace doing it.
Okay.
So sometimes it may not even go well, but I'm convinced that I did this because God asked me to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. So let's continue for you resigning.
Now, when God asked me to resign, there was a confirmation to this effect, so because I wasn't going to just leave my job. I mean, that was the only thing putting food on my table at that point.
Yeah.
So then I remember a friend of mine, Chinedu, thank you so much if you're listening to this. Chinedu messaged me around 3 a.m. I just woke up to his message and he was saying, God has put something in your hands that he wants to bless. I still have that text on my WhatsApp now.
Wow.
Because I still have my chats from way back. He said, God has put something in your hands that he wants to bless. So take that step of faith and leave where you're working. This is someone I don't talk with all the time. He doesn't even know so much about my workplace, whether it was going well or not. And besides, I was coming to a point where my boss really was liking me, and it wasn't a good time to resign. That was like my peak. Your
peak period.
Yeah, do you get? You're in a company, and then the MDs begin to like you. That's the time to do your best and climb.
Yeah.
So the funny thing was that the same day I resigned was the same day I was promoted.
What?
So that was the trick. Now I came to work and I was just sitting on my laptop, and then my MD's PA came, and I was like, oh, he wants to see you. He just came now. Like, he doesn't call for me normally. So I'm like, why is he calling me? And I came to his office, like, when are you going to resign? I'm like, I was shocked. Like, I didn't do anything. So you better resign because your department, I don't know what you guys are doing there, this and this, and I've been getting reports. See, you better. Like, fine. Then that was a confirmation for me. To him, he was actually joking because it was the same him that was pushing that. This guy, I've been seeing his work. He should be made to handle this particular unit. Do you get?
Wow.
So I went back to my chair and I'm like, God told me to resign this morning. And this man is telling me to resign. He was actually joking because he wouldn't tell me that. And then, because that same day they had a management meeting. So I was just still thinking about it. And then I went to HR's office. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I have this strong urge that I should resign today. Like, Splendour, what's wrong with you? See, go and think about this. We're having a management meeting. When I'm back, we'll now discuss it. I said, okay, fine. And I wasn't even thinking about it. I was already writing my letter, handing over. And then she came back from the meeting hours later. I'm like, see your life. Imagine I had collected your letter and tendered it to the management. This is how you'd have left. You've been promoted. You're now a relationship manager, handling South. Look, I'm still resigning. So that, see, if I don't do this now, I will not feel at peace. I know God wants me to resign. All right. So she tried talking to me. Like, see, you're just young, just finish your this thing. Look at you. Even many people have been here for years. They've not even seen. So that, see, I'm sorry, but I know, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I feel I'm doing the right thing. And the funny thing, thank God for good friends. I call some of my own, like, see what I'm doing. They're like, congratulations. Like, I'm resigning. Do you get? Said, congratulations. He said God asked you. That means there's something more for you. So they give me that hope to, go ahead and just trust God. I don't know. They don't know what God is about to do, but they feel it's something I should do. All right. So then I resigned that day, went back to my house. Like, God, you have put something in my hands that you want to bless. I want to see that thing, because that thing has to show up now, because there's no work to do. Nothing bringing food to the table.
Lagos.
In Lagos. I've rented a house now. I'm no longer staying with someone. So there has to be service charge there every month. There was a lot to do, and I like, God, please. There has to be a way. And the funny thing was that, what I was thinking about?
What?
Maybe it's my experience of, the experience I've gathered over the years in my company that God wants to bless. That's the thing he has put in my hands. And I was working in a fleet management company. I was thinking maybe they were handling cars and all of that. Like, some of these Coca-Cola trucks is not owned by Coca-Cola. They lease out to Coca-Cola. All right. So I was managing one of their locations in the south then. So I'm like, maybe God wants me to, develop on what I've already learned over the years. Like, okay, fine, let me go and start a logistic company. Bought bikes, I still saved up money then. And one of my friends called me like, Splendour, see, you motivate me all the time, the way you make decisions. I really want to support whatever it is you want to go into. He sent me 1 million. That was my first million then, though. Wow. I'm like,
where do you
God is really...
I need some of them.
But I was like, God, you're up to something. My first million I got it at the point I resigned. Yeah, up to something. So I'm like, I'm going to put this money into this logistics. So I bought bikes, I even invested money with one company like the MBA Forex. I don't know if you heard about them. They later closed down. I did research. I'm like, okay, I'm going to invest some amount of money here, like about $1 million. that at least every month I'm getting some amount of money, as dividends, and maybe later they give me back my capital according to them, and then put the bike thing, have the bike thing going on, and money coming from here, from there. I wasn't even thinking about my clothing line because it wasn't really paying. So when God was saying, I've put something in your hands that I want to bless, I wasn't thinking about the clothing line. Meanwhile, that was what God was talking about. So I did the bike thing for like 3 months. Imagine the second month I was already overhauling the engine. If you know what it means to overhaul an engine, it's not normal that you buy vehicle and second month you're already overhauling the engine. You can stay 4 years, you've not even overhauled your engine. Second month I was already doing that with the bikes. Not one bike, not 2 bikes. I'm like, something is wrong somewhere. So then I was praying like, God, what's going on? The business wasn't going well. The MBA Forex I invested money in, they closed that same month.
What?
Yeah, they closed that same month. And trust me, I didn't want to invest. I asked questions. That my cousin that even helped me, linked me to someone that gave me where I stayed, told me, I even invested with them. I get like 200K every month, and they've given me back my capital. Like, so I did my research. I went to their office, shook hands with them, snapped with them. Like, this is where you guys stay, right?
So,
this is where you guys stay, right? This is your office, I did all of that. I did my due diligence, and at the end of the day, the first month that I invested, they closed down. I'm like, okay, what's going on? The business, I won't lie to you, I didn't make anything. At some point, I had to sell the bikes to buy food stuff because I wasn't eating again. There was no food. Because the only thing that comes in goes back to paying the riders. All right. And then I was, I can remember the time I overhauled one of my engines, and then the guy came back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you have to resume work the next day. He resumed work the next day. Last month, caught him. So I have to pay another 20K. I'm like, you just have order 1.5 that you're taking to phase 1. I was frustrated.
And now you're using 20K to
you get, it was really crazy. I sold the bikes, bought food stuff because now who they alive, now they do business,
I love that. Now who they alive, they do business.
So I had to buy food stuff. Like, then I started praying every day. Then I used to join all these morning prayers. I was joining 12:30 by Celebration Church. And then they will be praying for the advancement of the gospel. That's really good. But at that point, I thought, you people don't know what is doing me. I'm going through hell. Hey, you are praying for the advancement of the gospel. So I will join this popular one. I won't mention the name, that you get to shout fire, anybody. I'm like, this is the prayer because something is actually really wrong with me. You can't tell me nothing. It was crazy. It felt like, so at that point, I was just looking for where they would shout fire. And I saw one, and then we started shouting fire together. It was like something was really wrong with me, But then God was gradually building a prayer life then. And making me cultivate the attitude of prayer. I was always praying because that was the only thing I wake up to. I literally don't have a work to do now. I just wake up in my house, I will cry, pray. Then I'll still join 12:30, of course, and pray with them. So that was the only thing I do then. So I was just praying. And one of those days, I was in my house, someone called me, like, Splendour, where are you? I'm like, I just did Lagos. So like, oh, can you come to Benin? We are having one event like that, and I think you should anchor the event. I'm like, I don't do MC work. It's not my thing. Do you get? You should find another person. I'm like, I just feel you should come. And then my spirit told me, go for it.
Okay.
And I went for the event. I used one of those my tailors because I had gotten them there. Like, let's arrange one fine suit for me. I need to be an MC for an occasion. And then he arranged it. I went for the event. After the event, one of the guys walked up to me like, I like what you're wearing. Who made it? I'm like, let me make them. That was the first time I actually introduced myself as a designer. I'm like, I thought you do MC. I said, no, this is what I do. I make clothes. That was the only thing I had left, that I could tell people, okay, this is what I do. So I told him like, oh, please, I would want you to get my measurements, I want you to make some outfits for me and all of that. And I told myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it well. So let's get to business. And after the event, I measured him. Guy placed an order of over 600,000.
What?
I'm like, this is block money, This was in 2020, yeah? I'm like, 600K? Wow. So I did the outfits for him, sent it to Benin. He wore it, and I'm like, guy, you do them just the way I want them. Let's do another one. He placed another order for over 400. So within 1 month, I had gotten 1 million naira from him.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, it's just what God is saying that he wants to bless, And before even then, I didn't mention that I was going to travel to the US for my master's. I had gotten scholarship to travel. So I went to apply for visa, and I was denied twice. I'm like, that was when I said something is doing me because I have to, it is not normal. So this was a short break I had gotten after this whole period of, trying to figure myself out after I left my work. And then I'm like, oh, so wait, this thing can pay this much? Because now I didn't charge the guy what I would have charged in a normal day. When I was working then in my office, I was almost doing clothes for free because I was just trying to build my customers and give people a good, service and all of that. So now I knew this was going to put food on the table. So I added a little to what I would have charged normally. And I told myself, hey, I'm going to charge for this. I'm going to give people value for their money. And then I gave him, when I delivered the clothes, I was really happy. Like, see, every month you have to be doing something. Every month. I go out all the time. I'm always, out there. So I want to have new clothes every month. So we now had a deal. I was coming back from Benin, and then a friend of mine called me. Oh, there's a company. He works in Akikeja. They have Indians there. They're looking for someone that will make outfits for them. There was the time I posted, I make outfit. I'm like, yeah, please, can you come? They paid for my transport. I came to Ikeja, measured the Indians there, made outfits for them. This one, they even paid in cash. Like,
wow.
Like, oh, we have, so they're just bringing bundles of money. I'm like, oh, okay. This is making sense now. So, so this is what God wants to bless. So, at the point I was aware, He opened me up to more possibilities. All right? So, it's one thing knowing what God will have you do. It's another thing really positioning yourself to get those things, do you understand, to come your way. So, I was now beginning to position myself. Okay, so this is what God wants to do. Then I was putting my work more out there and everything. In fact, now let me talk about how I met Pastor Iren. I was already a member of Celebration Church, so they started the Island branch then. So I was actually really inviting my friends, please come to my church. One of them said, I don't have outfit to wear. I'm like, okay, come, I'll give you one of my outfits, just wear it to church. In fact, this outfit, you have to return it because it's my special. I've not even worn this one. So I gave it to him and he wore it. And then Pastor saw, you're like, who made this? Splendour? Who is Splendour? And then I think he pointed me or something. And then next thing I saw Pastor in my DM. Like, Pastor in my DM, Pastor Iren. And I'm like, can I get this particular outfit? I just need one of it. I'm like, okay, sir, can I get your measurement? Like, sure. He sent me the measurements. And I trust me, I didn't make one, I made two. That was, you get. I'm like, Pastor Iren. I gave him the outfit. He wore it. He really liked it. And for some reasons, I found favor in his sight. All right? So he posted me, tagged me, like posted the outfit, like this was made by Splendour. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. Each time he had the opportunity to talk about businesses in church, maybe fashion businesses, he mentions Splendour. And then I'm like, if this man is going to be committed to me like this, I have to reciprocate. So I'm like, whether you like it or not, I will send you outfit. So it wasn't just like a one-time thing of making outfits for him. I started making more outfits for him. And he was really very gracious enough. It was God bringing him my way. All right. So this same thing that God has put in my hands started opening doors for me. And this is not the first time. I've had times that Pastor will have to come. Where are you, please? Go meet so person, take the person's measurement, make outfits for the person. It's just me giving gifts. And these are people that on a normal day, I don't feel they approach them normally. But now I'm having access to them because of what God has put in my hands.
That's so beautiful.
Do you understand?
That's
so now,
beautiful.
Doors started opening. I won't lie to you. At some point I felt like my name has been mentioned in heaven for favor because I saw it coming. Let me tell you, it was so I don't want to say so bad. It was so good that there was a day I was like, I've not been to CCI Ikeja. There's a branch, Celebration Church branch in Ikeja. I'm like, I've not been there in a while. Let me just visit there. And then I went there. I met a couple of friends that were like, Splendour, it's been a long time we saw you. Let's just hang out. I'm like, okay, fine, let's go out. And we went to Ilupeju. And then, I got there. I wasn't just okay.
Where my family house is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We just got to the restaurant after 15 minutes drive. I'm like, can we change restaurant? Splendour, this today that we want to hang out. I'm like, let's just go to somewhere else. Went to somewhere else. Ore and Debbie, they will remember this story. And then, really, I got in there. Someone said, I like your outfits. Wait, I use the Splendour. I said, please, see, I'm traveling back to the UK this weekend. Can you quickly fix me up a few things? You order for outfits about 1 million. I transfer the money there.
Wow.
I'm like, this is the normal. It could, when I left the other restaurant, I can't tell why I was leaving, but I know I had that nudge. That's the same thing I'm talking about. I had that peace of mind that God will have, why would I want to live here? I was the one that drove myself to this place. You get, I wasn't driving there, sorry. We entered Uber to the place, and then I'm having the leading to leave. Now I'm getting here, and someone is placing an order. It wasn't normal. This is divine orchestration.
Yes.
You get favor. So the person that even came, we didn't even know what was going on because I just said, I'm coming, please. The guy wants to talk to me. So me, I'm like, he doesn't know if you're this gay guy. I'm like, yeah. He said, oh, you look good. I'm like, thank you. Oh, please, you make. That's why we started talking. Your name's Splendour. Oh, Splendour, you're this thing. Oh, guy, please. Like that, he ordered. I made the outfit that same week, delivered to him, and he was like,
He's in
"So we should do more. We should do more." See, I can count series of divine orchestrations like this, where I'm not even planning it. God is just leading me somewhere. I may just go to a particular place, sit down, and then I'm meeting someone that is willing to pay for my services.
Mm-hmm.
This is how God has been directing me.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't go through that and you won't learn to trust in God, because I've seen it all. So I've trusted God when things were really good, and I've trusted God when things were really okay. So at any point I have that nudge in my spirit to do something. So like this is how doors has been opening, and God announcing the business. So a lot of people would think this guy has been in business for a long time. The truth is,
how long have you been in business?
I announced the business in 2019. Started it in 20. That was when I was still working.
Mm-hmm.
But I really got serious with it in 2020.
Wow.
You get. So many people would think, because I've done a lot of work. I've worked with producers. I've done a lot, and my pastor coming into the whole picture made a difference too, because it also opened me up to international opportunities. So right now, there's no month we don't send clothes to UK, to the US, and these are people probably they follow my pastor, and because they are loyal to him, if he talks about you, if he tags you, then you should be able to do this, and I deliver. All right, and like that, doors has just been opening, and it's just God doing His thing. So now, I won't lie to you, I like what I do. The work is not so easy. I mean, it's stressful. But even with the stress, I feel like I'm stressfully blessed. That's where I feel, because I don't feel it.
Stressfully
Blessed. That's how I feel, because I feel I'm doing what I love to do. I love fashion. I've always loved to dress well and all of that. So I'm doing what I love doing. All right. And I'm doing it with ease. All right.
I love it. I love it so much.
So this is God really directing my steps. And this had made me realize that when God brings men into deep waters, it's not to drown them, it's to cleanse them. Because at that point you are going through something deep, it's probably God preparing you for something bigger. So sometimes when we are overwhelmed and we want to go to the complaint counter and say, God, I know they do again. Sometimes it's Him actually preparing us. So sometimes those bad situations that we feel should not even come to our way, like I'm a child of God, I know who I am in Christ. Those are the things preparing you for the bigger picture. All right. So I've learned over the years to really trust God, even in the tiniest things, down to relationships, down to see, I can't make any major decision in my life now without trusting God to direct me, because I've had times that I had to disobey, and then I'm like, nah, we're going back.
So what did
you get? So I always find myself calling back, God, how would you have me do it? My pastor will say something. He said, let God make a name for Himself with your life. Means God has an agenda. God has something He has planned for you, and you won't see it. You won't. I mean, we are humans. There's a reason why Samuel said, by strength shall no man prevail. It means strength has never succeeded. We've tried these things. You get? And someone like Job will tell you that even if he tries me, I'll comfort as God. Or do you get? Because he knows even in his trial, God is still faithful. All right. So I've been in that space in my life where I know, okay, things are not going well, but God is working out something in my life.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask you, because there are probably some people watching or listening that maybe are even in that in that scenario.
Yeah.
And honestly, trusting in God, you have seen it work, you've seen it pattern, so it gets easier when you have seen it. But for someone who is just starting that journey and feels, okay, for the first time, I tested my faith. I took this leap. I left this job. I chose this person. For instance, especially in relationship, but it's not going like I want to. It's not turning out.
So the thing I always say is,
what will you tell? What will you say helps in that scenario?
See, I will tell people, trusting God is not easy. You have to learn how to wait. And someone defined patience. It was really profound. He said, patience is not the ability to wait; it's the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Because if you have to wait on God trust me, that's when you will hear people giving you different advice. Do this, do that. See, because at that point in my life, when things were not working, and then I see those guys were telling me, see, come and do Yahoo. Nothing they did. No, you not the money where they carry from our fathers, they carry from them. You know, I just think, baby, you are making sense. You know, our fathers,
look, the logic will be, will be sounding right.
These guys stole our artifacts. They sold this, went to Binikari things. So these are things that we are taking it back. You know, this is history.
Wow. This is history. They're giving you moral.
I remember asking one of my colleagues, and he's like, see, some of these rich men you are seeing, at some point they did something illegal, then they clean their money. So if it's your own part, that could be. See, I heard very valid advice, like from people that I know I look up to. So waiting on God will teach you to be to really put yourself together, close your ears to some certain things, and really, like I said, keeping a good attitude while waiting. Focus on praying. So at this point, if you're in a phase in your life where you know, all right, things are not going well as planned, God will have me do this. Just stay on it. Sometimes it will not make sense in you. God is trying to build character. Do you understand? So at that point, he's doing that. So if maybe God is leading you to go to a particular place, it doesn't mean maybe he will have you stay there for a long time. Sometimes he just wants you to experience that. Because the experiences you will get from there would help you in the future. So at that point, it will not make sense to you. Like, I'm supposed to be in Kano. God is sending me to Kaduna. What am I doing in Kaduna? At that point, he just wants you to go to Kaduna because probably you will meet someone there that will direct your steps or teach you something. Do you get?
Yeah.
So I've learned to wait. I've learned to wait. So even if it's taking time, I'm trusting God that, God, if you said this, that's fine. I'm settled. So someone like me, you can't pressure me to do something. Now my mates are doing, see, down to even when I got a car, every single thing I do, like, it's that bad. I'm so sorry. It's not like I'm waiting for God to tell me to eat. No. Those are there are things you should be able to do on your own.
Yeah.
But when it comes to major decisions of my life, I take my time. You can't pressure me. You cannot. So I take my time to allow God to lead me. Because I've over the years discovered that this God has a better plans for me than I have for myself. So imagine the best thing you've thought for yourself. I want to get to a point where I own this, and God is saying, I have better plans. So the plans I have for you, they are plans of good, not of evil.
Sometimes our plans are even belittling God.
Do you get? God is saying,
God's work.
You know the funny thing? You know how devil does his thing? The devil is saying that God wants to offer you something really huge. He gets something good,
but it's not as big.
But it's not as big as that. And if you're not careful, you will settle for it.
Yeah.
And if you settle for it, God will be looking at you like, hey, if you only know what I have for you, if only you waited. Do you get? So a lot of people are actually living comfortable. But trust me, God would have had them to do more. Like, they would have been doing more with themselves now if they actually really followed God. So they are comfortable. So not trusting God, the repercussion is not that you will be doing badly in life.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. You might be doing well, but you don't know. You have no idea. When God is saying that eyes has not seen, it's only the plans I have is bigger than what you've imagined. All right. So we've not even scratched the surface. So some people are really doing well, but they're living below potential. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I've literally been saying for the past 1 hour. Honestly, this is powerful. I don't even want to dilute anything you just said. And I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And I'm happy to hear your story. I would never have perceived that you have gone through some of these things. You look like such a botsy, chilled.
Oh, good.
Life is easy type of guy. The way you dress, like, you always look like you're not breaking a sweat. This is grace, honestly.
Yeah,
and
really, God has been doing his thing.
I feel like your story, even for me, is that encouraged me that honestly, sometimes it might not make sense.
Yeah.
You might not see the big picture. For instance, with this podcast, so many people have told me, this is how you need to monetize it. This is how you need to bring brands on board.
Even for relationships, actually.
So, and even for relationships, honestly, that's another conversation. People will come back and talk about it. But even just in trusting in that journey. And the reason why, because we talk about relationships often, especially on social media, but people don't talk more about what is your purpose? What is your journey like? Apart from all the stressors of being in a third world country like Nigeria, what is your path to?
Something just came to my mind as you're talking now.
Yeah.
A lot of persons need to actually thank their exes, because it was probably God leading them their way.
Yes.
Just to help them put their head together.
Yeah. I absolutely, absolutely. There's some breakfast you chop.
God knows
You will
you're not
start
going to settle
business.
with this person finally. What do you have you did to the person?
Yeah,
So because he's trying to probably refine you and make you a better person.
yeah.
There are people that, your life got better after you dated
That's
them.
true.
So they're working harder.
That's true. But you're actually
It's all factored into the plan.
yeah.
So sometimes that's God's plan does not have to really be, some kind of thing that will bring profit at first.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not even seeing it.
Yeah.
To give you a headache
To
sometimes.
learn something.
So God actually, there are people that they're in a relationship now and it's not going well and it's God's plan.
So every time that you hear God's plan, it doesn't necessarily mean that is the plan that is going to blow you. Or this is the plan that's going to lead to marriage.
Exactly.
But it is the plan. It is the journey. And then the trusting there is the having faith that no matter, especially for people who like to be in control. If you're like me, you like to be in control. You like to know, I like to know what the next 10 steps are. I like to plan everything. And honestly, this is something that I have had to, with experiences, learn that it takes more of your strength. You'll be so stressed, and you might not even get the kind of returns you want when you want to use your own human strength. Why just let go and allow God to do his thing? Yeah. So before I let you go, I want to hear this Chinese. So you're gonna tell us a statement around maybe trusting in God or something like that, if you can.
In Chinese?
You?
I won't be able to.
What can you tell us? What can you tell us in Chinese?
Apart from one name that everybody knows, Ni Jiao Shama.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Jiao Shama is how are you doing?
Okay.
So there's so many depends on the funny thing that I even worked with it, funny enough.
Yeah.
It's part of the things that gave me, I didn't mention this, part of the things that gave me leverage in my company, because at some point they had to do a business with Chinese people.
Oh, and you were helping to...
And then but then it was still very fresh in my head.
I want you to pick a card. Just pick any card.
Okay. I picked two.
Two. All right. So what are two?
No, I picked two cards. So
you picked two cards.
Yeah.
What was the second card? This one?
Yeah. No, 9. It's a 9.
9. Oh, I can't find it. Let's just deal with that one.
Okay.
Since you have just one card, I wanted you to pick. So 8. 8 hearts. Yes. So what are 8 things you love about yourself? Let's go. Number 1, don't think. Don't think.
Okay. I love that I know how to dress.
Too.
I love that I'm very confident.
I
love that I'm very smart.
I
love that I like to see, I spot opportunities when I see them.
That's 4.
Yeah.
5.
I like that I'm Igbo. Sorry, I'm apologetically. I like that I'm Igbo. I like that I'm a child of God.
I love that too.
I like that I'm a child of God. I like that I'm good looking.
Woo!
I also like that. I like that I'm in God's will for my life.
Oh,
I think it's a good place to be.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
By the way, are you single? For people who are scoping? Say yes or no. Or you need to
let's find out in this episode.
Okay, so you guys need to tell me, are we bringing Splendour back to ask you about relationship and talk about love? I'm just going to let him off the hook now, but this is a perfect way for us to close.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
So
Honestly, the things I wanted to say, but I feel like your story and everything you said is everything anybody needs to hear.
To be honest.
Honestly.
I have to remind myself about these things often as often as I can, because I feel it humbles me. It puts me in a place where I'm reminded of where I'm coming from and what God has done with my life. So
and where you're going to. Yeah, the journey is bright. Looking forward to more wins, more successes, sharing more stories. Thank you for your time. Okay, so you already know the drill. You know what the things to say we should do. Please share this with people, like, comment, give us your feedback, your topic suggestions, and your guest suggestions, anything you want to do. But until next time, this has been the Open Up Podcast with my humble self, Amanda Dara. Splendour came to grace the stage today, and I actually had a great time. So thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, see you guys next time.
All right,
Bye.